Morning everyone, how's everyone doing today? So as usual, I haven't put an advance notice that I'm going to be doing this video, so hopefully people will join me, but if you don't, you can catch it on the replay. So what I want to talk about in this video is last night I was watching the program Can't Pay Will Take It Away, and as you know, this whole point of this channel is to talk about debt management. It's to talk about supporting people to become more financially free, helping people with their finances. So the program was interesting because not only was did the bailiffs visit a house which was on my road or around the corner from me anyway, which I've never seen before in my area, but also it's just the reaction that the couple had when the bailiffs arrived at their home. And that's kind of what I've been talking about this week in some of my posts, how people would respond if the bailiffs were at their home, why people kind of let it get to that stage. If you know you're in debt and you know that there's going to be an issue coming up, why leave it to the end now? What was interesting about this couple is their reaction, you know, and they're like, literally, what are you doing in my house? What are you doing at my door? I don't believe these papers that you get. I don't believe you have any authority. In fact, the partner, the male in the house, he called the police. He called the police on the bailiffs, and he tried to explain to the police that these men were in his house and that they didn't have authority. And that didn't last very long, because basically straight away, look at this beautiful part that I'm in, straight away the police were saying, well, they do have authority to be here, and eventually it got resolved. But what I want to say to people really is, if you avoiding letters and avoiding the fact that you're in debt, avoiding the fact that you get warnings, because things don't just happen out of the blue when it's you know, bailiffs don't just arrive on your door. It takes a long process before you get to the bailiff stage, where, you know, it goes to court, where they have to you know, instruct high court officers to come to you. And the thing is, the stress and the pressure that brings. I mean, yesterday when I saw the filming of like this couple, you saw when the bailiffs came out of the house and you saw the street like full of people just watching, you know, because you've got a police car there, you've got the bailiffs van there, you've got all these men coming out in uniform and stuff. How embarrassing is it for the people who live there? But the worst thing about the whole thing was they hadn't paid nursery fees, and the one thing that the woman said when they got to the door was, she said, I haven't got the money, I've got 5 kids, she says, I can't afford to pay this. And I was thinking, in this particular case, I did have some sympathy, but I had more sympathy for the nursery, because the point is, a nursery is providing a service, so it would be the same as if someone came to see me as a counsellor. I said to them, you can see me for 6 weeks and you can pay me afterwards. And then they just decided, no, I'm not going to pay you. I can't afford it. But I've already given them the service. So the fact that these couple had put their children in nursery and then just hadn't paid the amount, I couldn't have sympathy, because I thought to myself, well, that nursery is taking care of your children, provided food, provided activities, so therefore, you know, you do have to pay. And the worst thing about it is it had been over a period of lots of weeks. So what I would also say to people is, if you're in that sort of situation, negotiate. You know, when you get your first letter, phone up and say to the nursery or wherever it is, I can't afford to pay this, I'm struggling right now. Human beings will respond to human responses or communication. When people get angry, especially creditors, is when you don't make any contact with them. And I know the reasons why, because people feel ashamed and they feel embarrassed to phone up a creditor and say, I haven't got any money this week. But that creditor's going to have more respect for you if you phone and you say, look, I can't afford to pay this right now. Is there any way we can negotiate? Because they know that you're not just taking, you know, advantage. You're not thinking, well, I'm going to pay this, can't afford to pay, what they're going to do. And that's when it does lead to court action, because I know for a fact, as a person who's in a business, I'm not saying I would chase every, if someone didn't pay me. For example, I've had occasions once in a while where people haven't paid. Usually I've sent a polite letter or an email and they have paid, but that's literally, you're talking £45 maybe for one session. Imagine though, if, as I've said, you've done lots of work for someone, you might be a builder, a nursery, whatever it is, you've done thousands of pounds of work, and that person has just decided or has chosen not to pay you. It's not really going to like just happen where they're going to leave it. So my point is, after watching the show yesterday, and I do watch the show every week, is instead of going through the stress, the pressure, you know, the embarrassment really of these bailiffs knocking at your door saying, you know, you owe us money, what are you going to do about it? And then you getting into this big confrontation with them. The moment a debt starts becoming a problem, especially things like council tax, because they will take you to court, and some of the ones where you know they're not just going to let it go, phone them up, make an agreement, negotiate, and then at least it's sorted. Because I know for a fact I wouldn't want bailiffs at my door, because I just wouldn't want it to get to that level, and I wouldn't want to have to negotiate with them. So thanks for watching, and if you haven't watched the show, it's on Channel 5. It comes on Wednesday at, I think it's 9 o'clock, and it's like Can't Pay, We'll Take It Away. There's also a programme called The Sheriffs Are Coming, but I can't remember what channel that's on. And there are times where obviously I'll think that the bailiffs have gone too far. There's a few shows I've watched and I thought, whoa, they'll go into people's cupboards and look for paperwork, or they've gone into someone's bag once as well. But they're there to get a job done, and they're there to get that money paid. So they'll use all sorts of tactics. So in a way, you know, that's their rules. They've never crossed the line in terms of what they feel. So it's down to you to not get yourself in that position really, and it might take work, but that's all I want to say on it. I hope you found this video useful. Please leave some comments. What do you think? What would you do if a bailiff was at your door? Do you know anyone who's been in that situation? Please leave your comments, tell me what you think, and thanks for watching. Bye.